Then you see when you really appreciate and love yourself that no one else's opinion matters. When you've got a phenomenal, strong relationship with yourself, when you've got a phenomenally strong bond with yourself as your soul, you know when that soul communication is coming through, you trust your soul. No one's criticism, judgment, bad behavior, whatever they want to say to you. Well, I don't really get what you're doing. I don't understand it. It just water off a duck's back. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't harm you in any way. You don't hold on to it. You kind of go, oh, I'm feeling it. Yeah, I can understand that you don't like it. You don't understand it. It's bothering you. But no, I really value myself. I really appreciate what I do. I know what I've gone through. I've learned how to do it. I absolutely, really, really I love who I am. So you're looking at yourself differently as your reflection. And isn't this a wonderful idea that you can look at yourself and be intoxicated by yourself? Isn't it wonderful that you think you can just look yourself straight in the eye and you can actually really say, I think you're marvelous. I think you're amazing. I love you. And really feel it and really mean it. And what I'm also going to be talking about today a little bit is like when you're asking your soul, please, because you can feel it, please show me how much you love me. And from source or from my dragons, I would say, just please show me how much you love me. And it's like, but that again is from an outside source. But I mean, we've given our love so easily to other people. We've handed it over. We've made them the boss. We've made them in charge of us. Well, if he doesn't like me, then well, I'm not worth very much. Or my boss doesn't like me, or my parents don't like me, or my ex doesn't like me, or my children don't like me, or this like, and they're all complaining. So this is what we're going to be talking about a little bit more about today, because the energy of that is going to change the way you look at yourself. It's going to change the way you show up, and it's going to change the way you radiate the energy out from you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to slowly and slowly your capacity to be able to hold more love for yourself. So first of all, we just need to know that love is not a trite subject. It's not like, oh, love, put a plaster over something like your kids do. You're like, love you, mum. Yeah, okay. As they're walking out the door, and it's like, what? That doesn't mean anything. Come on. Like when somebody really loves you or when you really love yourself, you are very unconditional with yourself. You can see all your faults. You could write all your faults down and you kind of go, yeah, I know that at that stage I was a little bit greedy or I was a little bit not nice or I was not very good at listening or I wasn't this or I wasn't that. So like you can see all of that and you can forgive yourself and you can kind of go, yeah, but I still love me. The same as your soul will be looking at you just going, I know exactly who and what you are and I still love you and you're still amazing. So yes, we don't want to be put off by the word love. So, what I'm trying to really put over for you today is the amount of love, the capacity that you can love yourself. So, it's not just what we think when we say we are loving is like we are loving someone else. My capacity is that I can love someone else, that I've got partners, that I've kids, I've got this, I've got parents, I've got that. But it's completely different when you say it's self-love. And then people say, oh, well, self-love, isn't that kind of like you get your hairs and your nails done and you go pampering and all the rest of it? Well, but now think differently. If you could love yourself as much as you have given love to other people, how differently do you think you'd feel? Jasmine, you talk a lot about love, so I think that's you nodding there. So, when we are in trying to building a loving relationship to someone else, what about if we were loving ourselves first and maybe even second and maybe even third before we start to sort of give our love away to someone else? We have to be absolutely full, 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 full of love before we're able to, we've heard the expression, before we can love someone else. And then if you think about it for your business, how is that going to affect your business when you're so in love with what you do, your energy that you're in? And one, it's infectious to other people. People are intoxicated by you because you just absolutely love your own energy. It's not necessarily how you look or how you present yourself. It's like, it's how you are. It's how you show up. It's like, I don't give a jot about what anybody else thinks about me. But I know that I stopped myself for a long, long time talking about the soul or talking about the dragons because I thought, oh, crumbs, so many people are just going to, because I'm changing direction, so many people are just not going to get me. But it's not my job to explain it to people who've never done that kind of work, who are not ready for that. My job is to, what did somebody say to me the other day? Kellen said this to me, illuminate the illuminators. If I'm to open your heart, if I'm to illuminate the illuminators, you're out there to illuminate other people. And you need to be illuminated to your highest, highest degree. So we need to be able to match the frequency of something that we want to achieve. So we've all got things that we want to achieve, but we're looking at this from achieving it from the earth perspective. How can we get clients? How can we earn money? Um, we're taking it from here. We're kind of like, well, how do I need to change to do that? But we're not really looking at it from our frequency. It's like, what else do I need to do? What strategy do I need? What formula do I need? How do I need to beat the algorithm? How do I need to do this, and this? Whereas really it's an inside job. And I never really understood that when somebody used to say that, you know, everything's an inside job. All the answers are inside. I was like, well, what does that mean? I don't know what that means because you haven't got an experience of it. And people just give off these wonderful one-liners and it doesn't necessarily bring you into any solid meaning what that means. So what we're going to be able to do is kind of say that this is where you want to be. And this is where maybe you are now. This is where you're radiating in your frequency because you've got doubt here, you've got criticism here, self-criticism here, you've got self-judgment. Nobody's ever more mean to you and saying the things to you than you are. So we need to be able to look at all of those things and not say those things and do those things to ourselves. But at the same time, if we want to be here, we've got spirit and we've got soul that can easily bring things to us when we ask. So we don't have to do everything on our own to get up there. We can easily just say, I don't know how to do this. Please show me how. So your soul journey, which is what you are on, has brought you through many, 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 many lifetimes when you have been I'll speak from my own perspective as to what souls I've been when I've had past life regressions. I have been an Indian squaw who went through the desert and she helped find where the water sources were. So like I could see where things were. I've been a high priestess in Lemuria. I've been a suffragette. I've been a deputy to a sheriff, and the sheriff was my ex. I've been a Aztec princess and the warrior is my current ex. And so you've had a lot of lifetimes. And also I've been a witch in this particular area in southwest France where I was drowned. Where like more than 600 witches were burnt through the European witch trials, and I was brought back to the very village where I used to live then. And I used to have witches in my bedroom when I was a kid, watching over me. And anyway, I used to sleep under the covers upside down. Didn't really know how to deal with those at the time. So if you think about all the lifetimes that you've had, and then, oh, something I forgot to tell you. So just recently, somebody was saying to me, oh, Fiona, I think I've had a life as a fairy. I said, all right, let's just check. And I went, oh, yeah, you have. And I said, have I ever life? How do I have had a life as a fairy? Oh my God, yeah, I've had a life as a fairy as well. Have I had a life as a dragon? Yes, I've had a life as a dragon. I'm like, oh my God. And this other girl, she said, I had a life as a unicorn. So, this is mind blowing because we think that we've only ever been a human, but you've not. You've not only ever had a life as a human. So if you think of all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the powers, the miracles and the magic that you've had access to, and that's all inside you in your soul. So you have access to that. So which way was I going? I was going that way, wasn't I? So this is your goal on this lifetime. Maybe you've got a goal And you think, oh, well, I'm human and well, I'm complaining and this isn't going well for me and that's not going well for me and da da da. So you're keeping your vibration low. But your soul is absolutely magic worker and she's up here and she can get so much done for you. Once you know how much your soul loves you and you can sort of reciprocate that love for yourself and go, flipping heck, I'm amazing. I'm brilliant. There's nobody better than me. You're lucky to be in my energy. I'm God's favorite. However you want to say it, it uplifts your energy straight away. I'm going to be quiet just for a minute. You're going to say it to yourself. So you're going to think where your energy is now, how you're listening to me, and maybe it's neutral, maybe you've got other things going on. And then you're going to just notice where your energy is now. See, energy's moving. I start burping straight away. And then you're going to say to yourself, and repeat after me, I'm brilliant. And you can say it out loud, it makes it stronger. I'm amazing. I'm incredible. There's nobody better than me. I've lived lifetimes and I've got so much wisdom inside me. I'm amazing. Now feel where you feel in your body as you are opening that discussion and that conversation up with the spiritual side of you, with your soul side. It doesn't need to take long. I've got a recording on my phone when I'm driving in my car, and it's called like a love rampage. And sometimes I listen to that when I'm driving, if I'm driving my kids to school or something, and or picking them up from the train station, and I'm just like, God, I just need a bit of a boost. Put it on, have a little bit of a boost, have a massive boost, because that is how amazing you are. When you think about who here has had past life regressions, just out of interest. I bet most of you have. Like, I mean, if you know, maybe you've had dreams or you've had instances or you've had, I know you have, Elaine, and and maybe you've had like a totem animal reading or you've had this or you've had that. I mean, there is so much that we have available to us to show us that it's not just here in this physical world where we exist. So then can you start to see where I'm trying to take you when you say your boss frequency? Huh? Can you see how powerful you are? Seraphina, one of my golden dragons, the first thing she said to me, you don't know how powerful you are. And it wasn't for me, it was for everyone who's on the planet at this time, knowing that some amazing things are going to happen. So knowing all of my past life that I've experienced, some of, some of them good and some of them horrific and some of them amazing. I was saying to him like, yeah, but it seems so kind of mundane and ordinary to then be here as a human. Can you get that? Huh? So you just kind of go, well, why am I here as a human then? It just seems so average, mundane. There's obligations, there's survival. I'm fighting every day, I'm struggling. And my answer was, this is the most exciting time on the planet, and you chose to be here. Now, we know that. We've heard it out there somewhere. We've heard someone else say it. Can you realize now that you chose to be here at this time with the skills that you've got, with the knowledge that you've got, with the soul that you've got, because you're going to witness the changing of the planet? And some people might go, but how? Come on, Fiona, how's it really going to change? How's it going to change? Okay, so what I've been shown, it is as big as when the population thought the planet was flat. And what is it now? We know that the planet's round. It's as big as when there were dinosaurs on the Earth and then there weren't. This change that's coming, it's not going to, be catastrophic and all the rest of it. We are going to be going through an evolution of the human, and we're at the leading edge of that because we're going to be using intuition, we're going to be channeling. There's more and more and more channelers coming through. There's more and more dragons coming through. There's more and more intuitive people coming through. And the glimpses that I've had of how the population look, my children's children and my children's children's children, we're incredibly different. We're incredibly different to other people. We're more loving, we're more helpful, we're kind, and we don't hold on to the traumas and the grief and the hurt and all the things that shut our heart down. We don't hold on to that. We just see it as like, oh, right. Well, okay, that happened. That was energy. So we're in this phase now when we get to break through from the ordinary to have that lifted off the burdens of being human. We have that lifted off us so that we understand that, yes, we're here on the planet, but we're not from here. It's a big shift. So, how is this going to help you with your boss frequency? One, it is the journey of your soul to bring your soul through with you in every single thing and decision that you make. So the dragon cards that came through to me about 5 years ago were all about how you operate, knowing that you can create, knowing that with your power of your mind, the power of your vision, um, your imagination, you start to create your own life. And this is what I've been doing with people to do with their business, is changing different stories, changing their energy. And then the soul comes through a little bit more and you start to trust the soul more. And then the soul comes through a little bit more. The more you trust your soul, the more you include it, the more you talk to your soul, the more she can give you guidance, because the more you're listening, the more you're trusting. So eventually you get to the 50% point and then you slip over to the 50% point and all of a sudden you are more soul than human and you're looking at things from a different perspective. You're kind of going, all right, I can see why they're acting like that. Yeah, it's got really nothing to do with me. So it stops affecting you. It stops ruining your day. So like if somebody was standing next to you and they would always been your arch nemesis and they'd really always just affected you and influenced you and ruined your day. And when you stand in your own power, when you really, really love and respect and honor and value yourself, nope, they don't affect you or influence your energy anymore. And that is a choice. And that's the choice that we have. So you're bringing your soul through 20, 40, 60, 80% until your soul is really enlightening you and it's really guiding you and it's bringing you to a much, much stronger place. And this is you becoming to get to know your boss frequency. Can you get to know it before that? Yes, you can. It is the fact that you absolutely own that you are in charge of your energy and you're not giving your energy away. So for many years, if you've heard these stories before, I have manifested houses to an exact specification. I've sold a house for exact prices, exact specifications. But I've always known, even if it didn't come through for maybe 6 months or a year, I knew it was going to happen. And people would look at me and kind of go, you actually really believe that you're going to get that? And I'm like, well, yeah, because I trust and I've had evidence and I've done it before. And I know that I can change the relationships I've got with people because I've done that before. And if I'm trying to manifest something new, then I just know, well, it's worked for this, well, it's going to work for that. Well, what happens is because things don't come to you instantaneously, because humans expect things to come through 1 and 1 equals 2 instantaneously, and because things don't come through like that, you think, oh, you haven't heard me. You've forgotten about me. You don't love me, or it's just something's not working. I've got to do it again. I've got to do it differently. And we start putting more energy in it, and sometimes we ruin the whole manifestation rather than just handing it over. What's happening is you build up a level of confidence in your soul, in yourself, that you will get the things that you have put out there and it will come. But you don't need to get your knickers in a twist about it every single day because you haven't seen it yet. And this is just basically what we all do all the time. Oh, it's not here yet. I was expecting to see a sign. I was expecting to see something happen and it's not. and you just get really upset and like your finances or your business, and then you start saying, I need more clients, I need more money. So what's the message you're sending out when you're in those phrases? I don't have enough clients. I don't have enough money. We all fall into that trap. I'm not playing God here. I'm just pointing out to you where we give our power away and where we kind of actually ruin what we really, really want to manifest, whether it's our health, our weight, our relationships, our kids or something like that. We ruin it because we just kind of think, "Oh, it's not coming yet, therefore it's I've done something wrong." So we have that self-doubt. So again, if we were just to really understand ourselves and really love ourselves as a soul and a spirit, we wouldn't not trust ourselves. So this is where I want to get you to in the next couple of days, is really understanding your relationship with yourself is paramount. So when we put ourselves out there and we are saying, I would like this to happen, or I would like that to happen, um, and we haven't built up a really strong relationship with ourselves so that we love ourselves and we can value ourselves, and we've seen evidence because we've logged it down, we start mistrusting. And usually it's because from very early on in our life, we started to mistrust. And anybody in this particular generation or what we're going through now, we've all been through this level of mistrust because as we're on this planet, we need to play a different game about how do we develop trust so that we can break through and do things in a very different way. Because what happens is when we don't trust, so the first time you don't trust your parents or they slap you or something happens and you kind of go, oh, oh, shut my heart down. Oh, oh, shut my heart down a bit more. Shut my heart down a bit more. So there are actually about 6 stages to a broken heart that will massively affect how you are able to radiate out your fullest frequency, your boss frequency. And it starts from a very, very early age. So the heartbreak is really where it all begins. Um, you just don't feel loved. You're not receiving love. You're not receiving the support that you think you need. How many of us have gone through life and just say, oh, my parents didn't really love me. And then you kind of forgive them and you kind of go, well, they didn't really have the capacity. They didn't have the certificate of how to love because their parents never had it. But we have that expectation that someone outside of us needs to show us love. And of course, we survived. We were cared for, but just not to the degree that we wanted to experience the kind of love that we wanted. So your heart starts to shut down a little bit. Then what happens is you get the fearful heart. So the broken heart goes into fear and kind of goes, well, I don't know if this next person's going to love me, and I'm a bit frightened of rejection and a bit frightened of failing. And the fear makes you play small and not put yourself out so wildly and, ask for so much love. You kind of think, oh, I don't know, maybe it won't come. So you kind of start playing a small game. And the fearful heart, if that's not checked, goes into the angry heart, where this pressure builds up and eventually becomes anger. You get frustrated, bitter, resentful. You lash out and you go, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. You're constantly realizing that you're being let down by others, more than likely because you keep saying, I'm being let down by others all the time. And so that is what is going to come back to you. And here's the truth, the anger usually isn't about you so much, but it is an old grief and an old fear of resentment and abandonment. And what happens then to the heart is it closes a little bit more and it becomes a little bit hopeless. So it's tired of holding the anger and is exhausted and it becomes a little bit burnt out and depressed. It's kind of lost its spark, can't get the connection it wants from other people. And you come a little bit heart sick and maybe you're kind of feeling it. And then a lot of people might start getting issues with their physical heart at this stage as well. So if you think of anybody that you know who's had heart problems, look at how they view life. Look at what's going on in their life. Look how hardened they are to the world so that that's their protection. So just be aware of that. So the hopeless heart goes on to the hard heart. And now it's getting even harder for the love and the soul to actually get back into the heart. And this is why I want to be able to do this, because being able to love yourself kind of softens the heart. You understand your role, you understand your soul's journey within all of this. Otherwise, you have the hard heart, which is becoming quite dangerous to get through. It's very difficult. I've seen it in members of my family who've had heart issues. They're very difficult to get through to. They're very difficult to have connections with. So you might know people like this as well. And you certainly don't want to have this happening for yourself either. What happens next is the numb heart or the checked out heart, a heart that is absolutely impossible to get through to. And you don't want that, but you might feel all of these different levels from other people. So I've got a list of little questions here, and you can just have an issue and have a little look at where is my heart right now? Because we're talking about self-love, we're talking about self-acceptance, we're talking about finding your values, which will be tomorrow's, and we're talking about bringing yourself into really loving yourself, this boss energy where no one can affect you and you are radiating out your full energy. So it'd be interesting to know for yourself the signs that your soul is bringing to your attention that you start need to listening to your heart. So there are stages of shutdown. So maybe you can start just realizing where you are. I mean, all of us will have something in there. So maybe you can just raise your hand, or maybe you can just kind of acknowledge it for yourself. The first level would be inability to have fun and enjoy life. A daily lack of happiness creeps in and it stays. It's a struggle to enjoy people, outings, to be in awe and wonder of nature. It's just kind of like, yeah, okay, I see it. It's kind of average. There's no real longing. The second one would be it's difficult to look in the mirror or to see yourself in a photograph. So you're not connecting with your eyes when you're looking in the mirror, and you're not saying anything nice to yourself at all. So it's like, oh, don't look at that. So you're avoiding yourself. The third one, you struggle with a negative outlook on life, complaining, self-loathing, gossip, spreading doom and gloom, repeating negative stories for yourself and others. This would be very much seen as kind of a little bit of victim, conspiracy theory, lousy relationship, nagging thoughts. So just know that why I'm doing this is because in the background, if you've got nagging thoughts, if you've got gossip, if you've got self-loathing going on, people feel that in your energy. So the best work that you can do is to fall in love with yourself. Now that's why we're doing that. So we're going on to question number 4 now. So you can get chronic feelings of disappointment. You almost expect to be disappointed. Can you see where how the heart shuts down? But if you're also recognizing that you're chronically feeling disappointment, like everybody always disappoints you, you can kind of look and just kind of go, really? Or is that coming from me? Because I'm saying they're going to disappoint me, then they are. You feel that everything's a waste of time. There's frustration, irritability, moody outbursts, and rage from you. 5, there's an underlying anger coming from you that others can pick up. You maybe don't know it because that's your natural state, but people might say to you, you seem angry today. Why are you angry? You know, I'm not angry. This is who I am. So 6 then, you sometimes battle with depression, despair, and no hope, but difficult to get out of bed. 7, you can easily do for other people, but you can't do it for yourself. I'm going to put my hand up to that one. Yes, Jasmina. It's really easy for you to like, oh, I'll do that for you. I'll tidy that up. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll pick you up. I'll take you here. I'll do that. And what have you done for yourself lately? What are you doing for yourself? How are you putting yourself first? Exactly. So you see, in a way, your heart shuts down, and people feel that as well. It's like, really, you don't take yourself seriously. What are we up to? 8. You can feel very uncomfortable at the center of attention when people are loving on you, when they're celebrating you and loving you, receiving gifts, service, words of love and appreciation and compliments. It's like, ooh, don't look at me. Nine, except I can't do my finger for that. Affection. So like hugs and kisses and people looking you in the eyes for a particular length of time, looking you straight in the eye can feel very, very uncomfortable for some people. And you can see then that you're protecting yourself and you don't want that. And then lastly, because we don't love ourselves, we're prone to addictive habits. So our inability to find love and comfort from any other way becomes self-satisfied and over addictive with wanting to escape through food, smoking, drugs, alcohol, sex, sport, obsessive workaholic, Netflix, gaming. Okay. Everybody's got something in there because it's just our habit of kind of like, oh, I'm a great doer as well. So like we create a lovely garden and like, do I ever just sit in it and appreciate it? Just be? No, we always have to do something and moving and feel that we need to do that. Otherwise, there's huge guilt. So shifting into the freedom of this frequency where you really hold yourself dear and you put yourself first has a massive effect on your income, on the love for yourself, on your relationships, on your heart, on so many different things. Because you need to be able to trust yourself, trust your soul, trust your spirit, get evidence to back it all up, fall in love with yourself. Otherwise, people are going to feel for you, feel from you, and you're going to have to put so much effort in to put yourself out there rather than you just being the most attractive energy that you could possibly be, which is that you love yourself, you respect yourself. If you think about anyone who is in a place that you admire, they're super confident. If you think about their how they're earning, how they're showing up, how they're doing certain things, they're not throwing themselves away and running after people and all the rest of it, then or over giving and over providing. They're just kind of like, fuck it, no, I come first. I don't want to do that. They love themselves enough. So I would often say to my soul, do I want to be here? Do I want to be doing this? What do I want? So really putting yourself first. So if you can have So I was given an experience the other day because I met up with a new dragon, which is pointing me in the direction of making sure that I'm illuminating the illuminators. So you are finding that love for yourself within yourself because it's a very, very powerful energy. Your mind doesn't understand it, but your body and your cells, believe me, they absolutely understand it. Think of your health and then think of being in love with yourself, being able to look at yourself and just kind of go, God, you're amazing. I feel wonderful. I'm just so lucky to be in this, healthy state. And you talk yourself into that and you feel it and you feel in love with yourself. That's the biggest health boost that you could give yourself in every single cell. You've just lit every single cell up with pure energy. And the same goes for your mind, the same goes for your finances. When you're able to really, really feel it. So when we're going to shift into this boss frequency, it's the priceless version of you. It's the mission that you deliver to the world that you know you're absolutely on point with. So what you feel is what you manifest. And the amount that you're able to amplify that, the amount of love that you're able to hold for yourself is equivalent to what you're able to then receive. If you're not holding any space for love in yourself, it's very, very difficult for income, finances, and people to come towards you. So this is a massive opening up of your heart in every single respect. Think about where you are now in your current business, in your current situation, in your health, in your relationships, and feel how you feel your frequency. I'm just going to take you through a little bit of an exercise. So maybe you think, well, how would I describe it? What kind of things am I saying? What do I feel's not working? What's my level of happiness or sadness? What do I feel on the inside? And where do I feel that? So just stop, look, and listen for a while about where am I currently in my frequency? So like if it was on a scale, so like if this is where you are, where am I now? Because we all have goals, we all want to get somewhere, but let's just have a look at what the gap is. So to get you started, how are you already living and how does that vibrate within you? So think about where you live, what kind of car you drive, the view from your front door, the type of food that you eat, type of people that you hang out with. What do you do with your free time, if you have any? What's your morning routine, if you have one? How do you treasure and honor yourself and your soul? What types of places do you like to go to and travel to? How do you choose to dress? What do you do for your livelihood? So like just just feel that where you feel that in the body. And it might just feel, hmm. So just have a reference of what that feels like. Have a reference. And then we're going to play with stage two. So notice where some of these frequencies can show up. So when you think about your highest and best, I did it the other way around, didn't I? When you think about your highest and your best and your fullest expression of your dream, your perfect life and how it looks, where do you live? What type of car do you drive? What's the view from your front door? What kind of food are you eating or is somebody making for you? What type of people do you now hang out with? And what do you do with your spare time? Because you have so much of it. What's your morning routine? How do you cherish and honor yourself and your soul? What types of places do you travel to? Do you visit spontaneously? How do you choose to dress? What do you do for your livelihood? What's your mission? You can ask yourself a few more questions. Who do you see? How much time do you spend with them? Maybe what's your income? What plans and projects do you have now? What relationships thrill you and fulfill you? And what activities do you do and with who? So this is your fullest expression of your dream, your perfect life. How does it look and how does it feel on the inside of your body? And just have a reference for that. Maybe also that you can see that your state changes, your shoulders are back and you're sitting up straight, or you feel different inside your body when you're thinking about the fullest expression of you, where you want to be and how you see yourself, what you came in here as a star landing in on the planet going, I'm going to do some amazing things when I arrive in this body. And then life happened. So I'm just reminding you who you are and what you're here for so I can light you up. So as you start to dream about some of these wonderful choices that you have, you start to make a shift in your body. You start to see a shift and it can like trickle in and it can tickle in and it can just rises up and vibrates in a very, very specific way. So just for yourself, just think, feel, what does that look like for you? How are you feeling that when you are in your expectation of that frequency so that you can actually see the gap? Oops, I'm flying an airplane here. You can see the gap between your current reality. It's only an exercise to show you where's your current reality and where's your dream reality. All those things that you keep saying you're dreaming about. And I'm going to ask you, how much do you love yourself when you're in your dream reality? How do you respect yourself? How do you cherish yourself? How do you show up for yourself? How do you look at yourself? How do you talk about yourself? If you were to see your reflection, I wonder what it would be. So this, we're going to go on to stage 3 of this exercise. Imagine yourself in, say, 10 years' time, and you're walking into a beautiful home that you admire, but from where you are today. So where you, whoops, there we go. From where you are today in your current reality, you're walking into a beautiful home, but as you are here. All right, you get it? Good. So as you are dressed today with your hair, your shoes, your attitude, today, how are you walking into that home 10 years down the path? As you walk in the front door, which is open and inviting, you hear a voice saying, "Hello," and you know it as your own voice. And then you see yourself quite different to how you look today. Quite different, in the way you walk and in the way you talk, and you have such strength and presence and confidence and joy, just simply oozes out of you. And as you watch yourself walk towards you, you ask 3 questions. What did I do to get here? Who did I just become? And what would I choose to do now as this person if I loved myself with my fullest heart to arrive into my dreams? What would the action be that I would do right now? So listen to your answers, jot them down if it helps. You've just had an experience of a shift in frequency, just to open up a little bit more about what it's going to feel like, what it should feel like as you step into your boss frequency. Because it's your frequency that's going to make a massive impact on your identity. It's not all hard work and strife. Because when we stop trusting ourselves, what do? We double down, we work harder. Does anybody want to explain or share how they felt in their current reality and in their new reality, or how it was when you walked into the room and you saw yourself? What kind of answers did you get back? Do you remember the questions? Questions were, what did I do to get here? So you're asking your future self, what did I do to get here? What kind of answers did you get back? Everybody's being shy. Or do you need just a little bit more time to answer those? What did I do to get here? What would be an answer that would come back from your future self to say, what did I do to get here? What kind of qualities or actions, what kind of advice did you get?
Hello.
Hello, darling.
Sorry, I'm hey, darling. So I just want to answer this question because it was very, very immediate.
Yep.
My future self told me, just remember,
Yeah.
because you've done it before, you can do it again.
Yeah.
So,
And,
which is very clear answer for my case at the moment
and does
because
that
I
help
am
you?
doing,
Yeah, does
yeah,
that help
very
you with?
much.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
And what are you remembering then, Nadia?
I remember that what stresses me at the moment is um, being in a project that has a lot of insecurity, that is very risky. I have to like put all my soul and all my belongings and all my intention and all my forces and belief, not only belief, my knowing that this will work. I have to put it all in there.
So
And
you're
then it
putting
will work. And I
you're
have to remember that because I did it many times before.
yeah, you're putting
But
100% trust in the
yeah,
spiritual side.
absolutely.
Okay.
And not only trust, but like all my worldly, yeah, belongings and everything has to go there now in
Okay.
order for me to achieve that. And for that, in order to do that, of course, it brings existential worries and what if and all of that. That is very human and that I acknowledge and I listen to and I look at and I say, okay, that's fine. But just remember that this is not the most important. The most important is, do you trust?
Yeah.
And if you trust, just start walking, baby.
Yeah. It is difficult, isn't it, when we go back into the human and we start looking at
Hmm.
all the what ifs and oh gosh, this could happen and that could happen, and we start talking
Of course,
ourselves
that's
out of it.
normal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the root chakra, our brain. I mean, they're conditioned to tell us that. Yeah. So we live in a human body and in a human system.
Yeah.
So I think the important for me personally is always to be able to zoom out of that,
Yes.
to see myself as this human being that is struggling with this and that,
Yeah.
and have compassion and love myself for being the fearful little girl saying, "Oh my God, I don't want to lose all of what I've got now because I will not,"
Yeah.
and uh, and just come back into that higher and deeper and more ancient knowing that I can trust the process. I can trust this voice that led me to this point.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
often call it
So,
it's like jumping without a safety net. And I've done that
yeah,
several times, but then every single time in my human existence, I still get scared and I go, gosh, look at all the things that you did before and it always went well. Just have the
yeah,
adventure, find the adventure spirit, do it again.
yeah.
Because it's so easy to stay where you are, locked down and playing small, which is what we were
Hmm.
talking about earlier on, which is when the heart doesn't want to get hurt and you're scared. So,
Yeah,
but your
yeah,
soul, if you know that your soul has you and you've built up evidence of that, um, then it should be easier to let go. So remembering is very, very important. Thank you so much for answering that.
yeah. Welcome. Thank you for asking
That's all
and
right.
guiding me there.
If it helps you move forward in your journey, that's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
It's always good that we get reminded of what we know, isn't it?
Oh, I think we constantly have to be reminded because, again, we are human and we keep falling out of that particular knowledge.
Yeah,
And we need other people around us to remind us. Even you go, oh yeah, I know.
exactly.
Why didn't I remember that? Because yeah, we're going to be doing things in a very, very different way. And so we do need reminded and we need to be
Yeah,
held very, very dearly. Yeah, thank you
that's
for that.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Fiona.
Oh, my pleasure. So, does anyone else want to share now that Nadia's been really brave and gone first? What did you get when you asked that first question? What did I do to get here? Stacey, you've got your hand up.
Sure. I got consistency, being consistent and being willing and taking action, just and putting myself out there because I'm ready to step up. I'm ready to put myself out there, I guess, right now.
All right, you've been playing small.
I have. And I know I'm a big player, but just haven't known how to put myself out there. And what they're saying is go live, go, go try it. Just go try it.
Yeah, jump in with
Start
both
doing.
feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, would you say then you can see an exact correlation ship between playing small and how much love you've had for yourself?
Uh, yeah. Yeah. Uh, and I really, uh, like, yeah, I would say so. And it's reflected back in relationships. Right now, like I've been really working with my shadows and my different bodies, like my emotional body and mental body and all sorts of them. And it's like really listening to them and bringing a lot to the surface and also uh, working through like I've allowed myself the distractions. Yeah, it's like, well, I just don't feel like doing that. I don't want to clean up. And it's like I've allowed myself to be stagnant and now it's like, no, I choose. I'm choosing to move energy. I'm choosing to clean up things. I'm choosing to actively participate in my life, knowing that that is a form of self-love. Like I choose to ooze that self-love right now.
Awesome.
So, yeah. And thank you. I really do appreciate and value what you're sharing. Yeah.
Yes, it would never have been a thought of mine, and a few years ago or even a year ago, that I would be talking about love. Talk about the soul, I talk about the dragons, but the dragons are there like this is so needed because you can see that the level of self-love in humans for themselves has gone down so low. We're giving our power away, and therefore we're just playing so small. We can't step up and we can't do the work that we know that we came here to do. I mean, we're all doing a lot of work on ourselves. We're like working that out and working this out and working that out and dig, 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 dig. And they're kind of like, well, if you just had self-love, which is what they're showing me, to put this freedom to the frequency of self-love, to falling in love with yourself so that you can be, energy's moving again, so you can be intoxicated with yourself. That almost kind of like it shines a light on all the shadow stuff. It's like, well, we don't need to deal with that then because, well, fuck it, I love myself. I'm flipping awesome. So
Yeah.
I don't need to dig around in all the dirt. I can see why that trauma happened. Okay, fine, gone. I can see why that ex departed. Okay, fine, that's gone. I can see why I've had aches and pains and all these kind of things and metaphysical symptoms. I can see why. Okay, fine. Well, I don't need to worry about that then. So the more self-love you have, the less of the other shit that we need to sort of keep digging around in. Because like when you go to a counselor, all you're doing is digging around in the shit. It's like, well, you don't get anywhere. Come on, let's light ourselves up. Remember who we are. Remember that we're soul. Remember how powerful we are. Remember the being in just when it came through to me, like I was just, and I saw myself in a reflection and I just went, I'm intoxicated. I
Yeah,
can't,
well, it's
can't
bringing
stop.
our wholeness back, remembering we're already whole. We don't need to dig up the trauma. We don't need to dig up all this stuff. It's remembering we're already whole.
The
And the
thing is,
more
it's
that
great. We know it here,
yeah,
but we're not
yeah,
actually feeling it. We're not actually
yeah,
owning it or living it or breathing it. So this is my work that I've been given is to kind of like help illuminate
yeah,
you so that you know, oh my God, I'm amazing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
it's
what this is what this is about, this boss frequency. I didn't know when I decided I was going to do it in April that this is what I was going to download to present because this is like so important. And this is
yeah,
the course that they've given me to run for like 6 months so that you step into that and there's, you're almost like Wonder Woman. There's no stopping you because it's just so much love to be had, and you're
yeah,
brave and you're courageous and the world is working for you and you've got soul and source on your side.
it's powerful.
Very,
So awesome.
very,
Well,
very.
thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Does anybody else want to share what they got when you asked yourself the question? What was it? What did I do to get here? So you're asking your future self, what did I do to get here? And normally you'll have some sort of first response, and it would normally come in quite soon, unless you resisted it in your head. Jennifer, did you get anything?
I got a few things. I know that I'm going up a bit and there's were a few things kind of blocking me. And I don't think it's even necessarily with what I do, but I think it was the love thing that there was something there I had to clear. And I've gotten a lot better at not feeling through old stories that are negative and feeling more into stories that are positive. So that's one of the things I try to do to counteract a little bit the goblin thoughts is to bring in like remember when you did this for this person or remember when you succeeded at this. And one thing you said that really resonated with me, I used to do morning affirmations, my own personal rant to empower myself, and I have an amazing vortex. By the time I was done in the washroom getting ready and putting on my makeup, I was in it, like it was coming. And I'm thinking the other progress that I've done so far, if I blend that in with that kind of, it's like Stacy said, right? Like just being consistent and being persistent maybe with some of my choices. And the other third thing I got was asking for help. So I'm getting a lot better now at actually consciously remembering that I don't have to rescue everyone else. Like I can rescue myself, but I can ask for help. I don't have to be a genius at certain platforms. I can ask for help for that. So I think for me, it's about relieving the load of feeling like everything's on my shoulders. And when I was, picturing myself in where I feel I should be at, it's very much home for me. There's no stress, there's no questioning. But again, like Stacy mentioned, just having like the routines and being consistent. For me in the morning, it's getting up, meditating, connecting to my animals, connecting to myself. What am I going to get done today? And always doing something towards my purpose consistently. So as my flow's coming in now, I know it's going to probably wave in very soon, but at least now I'm seeing some consistency. But I don't want to call it disciplining. I just want to promote consistency and how can I do it with ease and grace?
I
And
also
I,
had an allergy to the word, blimey, get my words out, discipline, because
yeah.
it sounded so fierce, but actually discipline is actually a very, can be a very soulfully structured word that I am disciplined and that I always invite my soul and integrate that into every single thing that I do.
Yeah.
But it's just a word, and it depends what energy you put behind it. But I do understand that sort of that word, like, oh, I'm disciplined. I want to go to the gym. Sounds like I'm going to have to go to work out. I don't want to do that. Whereas I'm very much more about playfulness and sort of making it easy and playful. And that's the whole point. And, if you knew how much source and spirit wanted you to have amazing dreams, amazing, they want to bring all those things to you in the most amazing ways that you haven't even thought of, better than the ways you've even thought about. So like you don't get, and as soon as you go into the how, that kind of like ruins all their plans. So they, they are so excited to sort of see you think big and go for something big. But if you're just going, oh, I don't know, maybe I just want to pay my bills for the next year or something, and then I don't know, we'll see. They're like, boring. Give me something not because they like they're amazing. That you've heard the past lives that you've had and who your soul has had, let alone what source and spirit are like. They're watching you and they're kind of, oh my God, that's so survival. Come on. They want you to love yourself so much that you're creating something spectacular. So when we set our days up and when we look at what it is that we want to create, let's make it interesting. Let's make it fun. Let's make it dynamic. Let's make it adventurous. Otherwise, they're kind of going, oh God, just another 2 grand. All right, okay then. So we have to make it fun. That's part of your energy as well. It's like we lack the fun, we lack the love, we lack this. But like if we can infuse all of that in, then source is waking up, then soul is willing to play, then they're fully on board rather than staying in our scared state. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. That was awesome. Jasmina, I'm going to pick on you now. No? What happened? Anything?
I don't I don't have a answer because I was not present when you asked the question. Written down that my dog is not well, so I had to literally go out in the rain. She has diarrhea all day, so it's
Oh,
like, yeah, yeah.
all
Sorry,
right. Well,
but I will do
you
the exercise after. So
work on that
it's a
one.
great
Work on that one
question.
later because this level of really knowing and remembering who you are as this playful star seed that came in to rock this world and rock the Casbah and do some amazing stuff. And then you meet her and she's like in ease, she's doing her thing, and you think, what did I do to get here? Like as a human, what did I do? So that's what you're asking. All right, darling.
Yeah. I can so relate with some that the other ladies share, especially the commitment and that awful word discipline that you mentioned. Yeah, that consistency. Yeah, I can so relate with that already. So yeah, but I'll do the exercise to see what's coming from with
Okay,
me.
cool. Yeah, because it's not all having to be hard work and everything else. Somebody wants to do something, it could be completely different. And maybe Becky has a completely different answer that none of us have thought about. Did you have anything, Becky?
I was much healthier than what I'm being now. And I've always been strong and healthy, like physically strong and food-wise very healthy. And this patch of my life, I'm I'm just reasonably, like if I was to compare to everybody else, I'd say yes, I'm still very healthy. But for me, I'm just being reasonably healthy. And when I walked in the door and I heard my voice and saw myself, I was like, yeah, she's strong again. She's, you know, um, and it was just about making the right food choices. Um, I think the part I've been resisting is doing it alone. Like I felt in the house setup that I had, I was able to, have the salary and the foods and everything back that I eat. And there was room in the fridge for my type of foods, and it was just being, I was able to breathe in my own kitchen. Yeah, it was nice, but I
So
think I'm
very, very
resistant.
good to sort of see yourself strong and healthy and vibrant, and you could really get and look forward to that's what you're going to create.
Yeah, yeah, but I was going to two different places a lot,
Okay.
and which is a reflection of my inner conflict at the moment when I stay north of the state and go south where my daughter's living.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I did enter both of those homes. Um,
So if you going along with the subject we were having tonight, if you loved yourself fully, would that help with the conflict that you're in at the moment? Would you feel more determined? Would you feel more confident in making choices and trust yourself?
Yeah, that puts a different spin on it. Um, thanks for bringing me back. Um, yeah.
Cool, cool. I mean, that's the aim. I just think our lives are just so much easier and more fun and playful and adventurous when we have that level of confidence. I think I must have been in my teens when I think I said to my mum, God, I just wish I could give everybody confidence. You know, that you just absolutely do not doubt what you're doing. If you could just, right, that's it. I've made a decision. I'm going to do it by hook or by crook, and it's all going to work out perfectly well. To have that confidence and to know that you were supported. So I find it very interesting that we're going down this path of deepening your love for yourself. Falling in love with yourself is completely different to saying, I love me, because it's flat. It's a flat line. Not many people really, really, really get to love themselves because we think it's arrogant or egotistical. But it is the most beautiful journey you can go on.
Mm, I felt I had a adult home, as you're saying that, but very childlike joy. Like grandkids were just allowed and able to come and show up and play.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. One of my dragons, she's a pink bloom. And she is so playful. She invites you to play all the time. She said, my God, everybody's just got so serious and stagnant and stale. And it's all about survival and money and finances and paying bills. She's like, where's the fun? We came into fun. We came in to create all sorts of different things. And if you can go back to your child, so like a child will go into the candy store and won't have any problem asking for something. They believe they can do everything. I want that. 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 Whereas like when you grow up, you kind of like, oh, it's a bit, I feel a bit guilty if I keep asking for all that. I'm asking for too much. Whereas source is saying, no, ask for more. Go bigger, go bolder. Play. When I'm working with the dragons, all of the coaching, all the courses that I'm at is to do with play. They're very, very cheeky. My spirit guides are very, very cheeky, and they're really supporting you as best as they can to be as strong as you possibly can be. And that just comes from remembering who you are, going back to what Nadia said, remembering who you are, remembering who you came in as. And this is what I'm putting together for like 6 months. It's all been downloaded in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, you know. And the journey that I've been on to like just when I stepped through the portal, I stepped into sort of the other side of the world, where there's just no survival, no human burdens and all the rest of it. It's just like, my God, I get to just love life. It's amazing. And you're so confident. There's nothing that you wouldn't do because you have source and you have your soul supporting you, catching you every single time you make a move. Nothing can go wrong. The only thing that has fear is the human because we were taught to have that fear and play small. And our hearts just got closer and closer and closer and closer. Okay, ladies, I shall be back again tomorrow. We're going to be working on a lot more of your values. How you value yourself will make you look at yourself very, very differently. And when I started doing this kind of work for myself, I was just like, oh my God, I can value myself so much differently. So this is really, really powerful stuff. So, and it helps you immensely with your business. It helps you immensely with your relationships. It helps you immensely with standing up to your parents or whatever it is that you want to do. It has a very, very special energy. So I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. do some feedback in the group if you have any. If you have feedback on what you picked up today, if you listen to the questions, if you want to put the questions in there so that you can just like let them be embodied, sink them in, then that would be awesome. Until tomorrow. Bye.